Have you ever held on to a person or an emotion or a belief so tightly afraid of what might happen if you let go? Have you ever compromised your needs or your happiness for everybody else? You know, ever since I was a little girl, I was probably like most of you. I wanted more than anything to make everybody else happy. I was acknowledged for being obedient and pleasing in the eyes of my parents, and then I thought it was my job and responsibility to make sure everyone else around me was happy. But it was through being that person that I thought everybody else wanted me to be that I lost my little light and who I truly was. But I've had these moments in my life that have awakened me. And I have had many losses in my young life. But it was in these losses and learning how to let go that I was able to return to me and find my light. I want to take you back to 2011. In 2011, I had 4 young friends and a close family member all pass away within a few months of having my daughter. And during this time, I remember, I was trying to be this happy new mom that was there for everyone and supporting everyone and being there for my daughter. But the last funeral we went to that year, it was right around Christmas time. And I was standing there with my boyfriend and all of our friends around us crying. And I felt this overwhelming wave of fear and anxiety and what would happen next. And what I realized in this moment was that the more we're attached to things being a certain way, the more we struggle. Shortly after this time, my boyfriend and I split up. So you can imagine I was 20 years old with a 1-year-old and a desperate need for security. I clung to the idea that I needed him in my life to feel good enough. I thought that I had done everything perfectly and that no matter what I did, I just wasn't enough. But you see, it was being so attached to the outcome of that relationship, to him seeking my happiness outside of myself, that was destroying that relationship. Sometimes life throws us these really difficult realities. But in that, it can awaken us to our true purpose and realize that we're not alone and that there's something much bigger than us waiting to step in and lead the way. I see so many highly sensitive women just like me that are ambitious and have big dreams, but they're struggling on the path to success because they're so attached to things being a certain way. They have this idea of who they should be or what they should do. They're trying to keep everybody else around them happy. And I'm up here today because I say it's time for us to stop doing that. It's time for us to tune in, to listen, to let go, because we can absolutely own our worth and align with that voice of our soul, and that's where our power is. But you see, this isn't always easy because this takes immense courage, and it takes patience and time and showing up for ourselves. But above all else, this takes love. I want to share with you what I call the art of letting go, and it's a 3-step process that I use with my clients, and I take them through this process using a tool called Emotional Freedom Techniques. And EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques, is this great self-help tool that you can use any place, anytime. And it allows you to express the things that you're holding on to. It allows you to release those subconscious beliefs that are holding you back in a safe and empowering way. So the first step to the art of letting go is, in order to heal, we must feel. When I was 17, my dad left my mom. And here was this, I was always this mediator in the family, the one that everyone would come to and I'd keep it all together. But I was so angry at him that I didn't care what he thought of me. And I had to let out everything I felt so I could let it go. And see, at first this felt really uncomfortable because that's not the Jackie everybody knows. But the thing was, by me being real with him, he was able to be real with me. And we developed this beautiful relationship of love and understanding and trust for one another. And that's why I love EFT today. Because when I have those feelings welling up in me, it's this tool that I can use and I can go to and give myself permission to feel what I need to feel, to let it out and let it go. More recently, in the past year, my dad has passed away. And, I was really afraid that by losing him, that I was losing that only person that believed in me. That only person that said, whatever you want is possible and go for it. So I became driven and on a mission after he died to prove my worth and my success to everybody else. And I got so busy in my life that I drove my body into the ground. I was completely exhausted and burnt out. And I had no choice but to stop and start to heal. So what happened was I decided to take 2 months off. I'd buy some great self-help books, and I'd do the work, and I'd have all this clarity, and everything was going to work out. It was good to go. But what happened was I got busy again. I'd start cleaning the house a few times a day. I'd call my neighbor, see if she wanted me to help her with that thing, or I'd watch endless episodes on Netflix. And I thought, okay, something's going to happen. And what I realized was that the gift of surrender, and that surrender isn't sitting back and watching endless episodes on Netflix, but surrender is active in a quiet kind of way, where we go in and we tune in and we listen to that voice of the soul. And this isn't always easy because we are distracted every minute. How many times do we check our phones? We go on Facebook, we could watch another video again and again and again. But if we can have the courage to be vulnerable enough to embrace this place of surrender just a little bit longer, you will be amazed at what is revealed to you. The second step in the art of letting go is facing the fear of uncertainty. Especially as ambitious women, we think we need to have it all figured out. We want to have that element of control before we take that leap. But what I learned is that it's not our responsibility to have it all figured out. What our responsibility is to show up for ourselves every day, to be compassionate with ourselves, to tune in, to listen to that quiet voice of the soul. And when we do that, this place of uncertainty is transformed into this place of infinite possibility. And through this transformation process is amazing growth. And we can become a pencil in God's hand and realize that our purpose is much bigger than we are, and we step out of our own way. And that leads me to the third step in the art of letting go, is coming into alignment. When I first embraced surrender, I learned that surrender is not a sign of defeat or weakness, but truly a sign of strength and courage. It's an act of openness. It's a gift that we give ourselves in order to begin to receive. We know when we're in alignment for how we feel in our body. For me, I shifted out of that frantic overachieving and trying to make everything happen to this powerful feminine place of attraction, where we exert our power through our essence and who we are, and things start happening for us. When we come into alignment, we know what we need and what we don't need, and we have no problem saying that. My favorite quote is, "The world steps aside for a woman who knows where she's going." So in closing, I'm going to ask you all to put your hands over your heart. And just take a comfortable breath. If you want to, close your eyes and tune in, because I believe that there's a little girl within you who deserves to be heard, to be seen, to ask herself what she needs rather than what they want, and to stop comparing herself and criticizing herself. And we may get distracted along the way. But if we can have the courage to step into that quiet place of surrender, to feel what we need to feel, to let it out so we can let it go, we will come into alignment of who we really are. We'll hear that voice of our soul, and others will hear it too. You know, I believe that in order to light up the world, we need to light up ourselves first. Thank you.